Okay, I wanted to show you a little bit about this sequencer. Now, I'm not going to dive entirely into the sequencer and show you every single little function, because the fact of the matter is I demonstrate sound and functionality. And with sequencers, if you can pretty much read the specs, you know what it's going to do and sound like. And I have to read the specs just like you do. And so if I was actually going to go into each specific spec, I'd just be reading out loud to you. But I do want to show you the sequencer and just a few things about it, especially the motion sequencing, which is a really cool feature that you do need to hear. Okay, first I'm going to start out by recording a sequence. Okay, there's two different ways. You can enter a real-time overdubbing sort of sequencing by pressing play and then record, or you can record steps by pressing record and just recording each step. I'm going to do it the latter way because it's fast. I made a mistake. Okay, well, now what? Let's listen back. That sounds totally wrong in so many ways. Let's try it again. It's easy to immediately erase your sequencing data by doing Shift and Rest. Sequence clear. Now I can do it again. Pow, there's our sequence. How does it sound? Oh, it sounds kind of fast. Well, we could adjust the tempo, but really, if you look at it, it's at 120, and that's not so fast. Obviously, we need to adjust some other settings. So let's go into edit mode, sequence edit. The first one is the tempo, and we're at 120.5. Let's just get that at a nice even 120. Then let's try this other button, step length. We're fine with the 16 step length. Let's try step resolution, 1/16. It's going by so quickly because we have 16th notes. So let's change that to 8th notes. That's great. We could also adjust it to swing if we wanted to. We could adjust the gate time, but all those things are great. So we're just going to get out of there, and now let's listen to it. Awesome. Great sequence. Let's make it a little more interesting, though. Okay, that's cool. So there's our cool sequence, and that's how easy it is to sequence. You basically press record, play the notes you want. I mean, you can enter them in stepwise as well, but it's just as fun to jab them in. And if you wanted to like overdub and add and change things, of course, you've got 4 notes to work with. If you're overdubbing more than 4 notes happening at a time, you're going to lose the notes that you recorded earlier, et cetera, et cetera. But we have this cool sequence, and it was really easy to do. The sequence edit mode is so simple, so crazy simple. I do want to show you one other thing about it. Okay, we looked at like the parameter section, but we also can clear the sequence using these buttons, or and to do that you press right. We can go in here, and then we have motion clear, and we're going to talk about motion right now, so I'm going to back out of this. Okay, so motion sequencing allows you to record certain knob turns that you do in the midst of your recording of them to make your sequence more interesting and fun, and then it will recreate those knob turnings. So let's do this, and it's really easy to record. Once again, all you have to do is you press play, and then press record. And we want to start what we do from the beginning of the sequence. So let's wait till the beginning. And there we go. You can hear the knob turn that I did. And you have 3 other knob turns that you can do. And it gets pretty cool. You could do something like, let's turn the LFO rate. Press record. That's kind of subtle, but we could erase it. We could take that back out if we wanted to. Let's do some other things that are cool. It's not limited just to the knobs. We can also use the octave switch. So let's record that. I mean, how cool is that? And how about delay? Let's do something cool with the delay. Okay, watch this. Oops. What are we looking at here? Oh, did we have... Okay, let's try that again. Here we go. Okay, we're going to have to try that again. Well, this is a great opportunity to erase. Somehow I must have turned more than I expected to. I did. Let's go down to LFO intensity. I guess I must have bumped that. We'd like to erase that so we can do the delay thing I was just going to do. So we've selected it by pressing the button. Now let's turn to the right. It's going to say clear, and we say right to say yes. So now we have a motion sequence that is open, so we can go back and I can do the cool thing I wanted to do with the delay. Okay, so I press record. And so, like, we can see the octave light showing us that these things have happened. We can hear the delay. You can tell that your options are just unlimited as far as creating really cool sounds. And also, so let's go back and into the edit mode and go here. Here's our motion clear window. We also have a motion enable. So, like, we could turn each of these off and build them up as we go. So that's really convenient. Let's go back. The other thing we can do is in the motion clear window, we can see exactly what our motion sequences are made of. And then if we want to see actually the arc, the visual representation of what we've done with the motion sequence, we can press shift. So you can see exactly the knob turns you've made and what they look like. Now, if we go over to motion smooth, we can actually make those changes stepped because it naturally smooths them. The default is to have smoothing on. So let's go back and turn off all of them except for the filter. Okay, and then we'll go here and go up to smooth. And then we'll turn it off. I don't think we can hear a really distinct difference, but if you hold the shift, you can see that it is now stepped. We could do that to all of them, actually. And then you can see how they are not actually smooth. And we might be able to hear it if I turn it on. Turn all of them back on. it's just a little bit more robotic. But like if you do a lot of filter sweeps with it, you can generate some things where the stepping becomes really, really obvious. And it's a cool effect. I'll turn these back on. Yeah, you can tell. It did get a little robotic there. It's a little smoother now. But it just goes to show, I mean, and you can do just so much with all of these different functions, with the opportunity to turn any amount of knobs in any way to create whatever effect that you want. It just leaves you a lot of, even just with 4 of them, it leaves you a lot of opportunities for creating really engaging sequences that aren't just notes that are repeating over and over again. So like basically it operates like a real analog sequencer where you can use the sequencing to also affect different functional outcomes. And that is undoubtedly a great deal of fun. Let's go to motion clear, and then we'll clear it, and let's try that one more time, and I'll see if I can get a better example of the stepping. Okay, let's see. We don't have anything, so we'll do play. So basically in this situation, you've made it so all of the changes correspond with the step. And then when you smooth it, it connects all of the changes into a smooth arc instead of changing with each individual step. Still not particularly great example of, yeah. I'm going to re-record that one. Oops. Anyway. So that is basically the motion sequencer, and so much can be done with it. So very, very much. And it's just such a blast to work with. And it's easy to operate. As much as I made a big noise about, oh, well, yeah, all the stuff that I have to explain, it's all really quite easy to operate. Okay. So yeah, you can see there's a lot of extremely fun stuff you can do to make cool, fun, listenable sequences that aren't just activations of notes.